Sound the J-Bone alarm because Lando Norris just won the F1 Miami Grand Prix and is finally a Formula One race winner. J-Bone! J-Bone here, and it is time to recap and review the 2024 Miami Grand Prix that was truly unforgettable for a number of reasons, but one main one. Lando Norris is finally a Formula One race winner after he held off Max Verstappen to win the F1 Miami Grand Prix, and here is how it all went down. Prior to Sunday's Miami Grand Prix, Lando Norris's week was not going too well. For starters, Lando was nursing a facial injury during the week leading up to the Miami Grand Prix that he'd received while partying in Amsterdam the weekend prior. Cut to the race weekend, where Lando and McLaren had high hopes given the introduction of a ton of upgrades to Lando's car, but the results just were not there. Lando qualified P9 in the sprint shootout before getting rudely yeeted out of the race at turn 1 by the Aston Martins. Then, for the Grand Prix, he qualified P5 behind both Red Bulls and both Ferraris, which was not bad by any means, but was not where McLaren were hoping they'd be given the upgrades. However, during the race, Lando's pace was incredible, evidenced by the fact that he set a fastest lap of the race on worn medium tires that Max could not steal from him despite being on new hards. Lando did not win the race on pace alone, though his pace was rapid. Rather, Lando won it because of his rapid pace and because a safety car came out at the literal perfect time. Haas's Kevin Magnussen refused to back down against American hero Logan Sargent in the valiant battle for 18th place, which resulted in K-Mag yeeting both of them into the wall on lap 28. This was perfect for Lando, who had not yet pitted like those around him on the leaderboard. McLaren had been having Lando stay out on track because since he was still putting down good lap times, they figured they'd leave him out at the front in clean air while they hoped for a safety car so that Lando could get a cheap pit stop, and that is literally exactly what happened. Lando actually got the cheapest pit stop ever because the safety car picked up Max Verstappen in P2 instead of Lando due to the timing of the whole thing, which meant McLaren had all the time in the world to get Lando's pit stop done just right and still have him come out in P1 for the restart. And while Lando probably would not have won the race on pace alone if there hadn't been a safety car, he did win the race on pace alone after the safety car. Norris restarted the race P1 with Max behind him in P2, proceeded to hold off Max at turn 1, and then proceeded to put up a faster lap time than Max every single lap until the end of the race to secure his maiden F1 victory that was a long time coming. Congrats, Lando. Literally nobody deserves it more. Going off all that, here are some crazy facts about Lando Norris's improbable F1 Miami Grand Prix win. With his win in Miami, Lando Norris now no longer has the record for the most F1 podium finishes without a race win at the very same race that Nico Hülkenberg set the record for the most race starts without a race win. Lando Norris just became the 114th different Grand Prix winner in F1's 75-year history, which is crazy to think about because that's really not a lot of race winners over the course of 75 seasons. It's pretty much an average of just 1.5 different winners per year, a number that I am very certain Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton, and Max Verstappen have all combined to skew heavily. Lando's win for McLaren marks just the second win for McLaren in the last 12 F1 seasons, with the only other one being Daniel Ricciardo's 2021 Monza win. Max Verstappen's loss in Miami means his streak of United States-based F1 Grand Prix wins has ended at 6 in a row, and that also he lost his first North American F1 race since 2019. Additionally, Max lost the Miami Grand Prix from pole position, which means the Miami Grand Prix pole sitter has still never gone on to win the Miami Grand Prix. Does this mean the Miami curse is real? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because, seems pretty real to me. Usually Max Verstappen is the one to end curses, and he did not end this one. A lot of people are wondering what just propelled Lando Norris to his first ever F1 victory at the Miami Grand Prix, and if I had to guess, it's that Lando Norris probably took 7-time F1 champion Lewis Hamilton's class on how to achieve a winning mindset that's available now through my new sponsor, Masterclass. With Masterclass, you can learn from the best to become your best. Masterclass is the only streaming platform where you can learn and grow with over 200 plus of the world's best. If you want a winning mindset like Lewis Hamilton, to cook like Gordon Ramsay, or to play chess like Garry Kasparov, why would you not learn directly from them? Those classes and so many more are available for just $10 a month, which gets you an annual membership with Masterclass, granting you unlimited access to every instructor. When I'm not in this race car bed, I'm usually baking, and Apollonia Polan's bread baking class has helped me bake my best loaves yet. Look at these. Look at these. Plus, every new membership comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose by giving Masterclass a try. Right now, our listeners get an additional 15% off any annual membership at masterclass.com/formula. That's 15% off at masterclass.com/formula. Masterclass.com/formula. Going off all that, here's how my 3 bona fide Miami Grand Prix race predictions ended up, and it was not great. My first race prediction was that the Miami Grand Prix podium would consist of the same drivers as the Chinese Grand Prix podium, Max, Checo, and Lando. And while I was right about Max and Lando, Checo ended up finishing P4 behind Charles Leclerc in P3, so I was unfortunately incorrect here. Maybe if Checo didn't full send the full send of all full sends at race start, things would have been different, but we'll never know because he did. My second race prediction was that USA-based Haas F1 team would finish in the Grand Prix points in Miami. And while Haas did finish in the sprint points by way of a Nico Hülkenberg P7, unfortunately, like with my last prediction, I was wrong by one measly position here, since Hulk finished the race P11. And my third race prediction was that Mercedes would have their best Grand Prix result yet in terms of points scored. Mercedes scored 12 Grand Prix points in Miami, which was not good enough to make that prediction come true. Yes, I was incorrect here as well and went 0 for 3 with my predictions, which almost never happens, and I am ashamed. That puts me at 10 for 18 for the season thus far with my Grand Prix race predictions, which is not great, but I am still batting above 500, which would easily get me into the Baseball Hall of Fame if this were baseball, which, hey, it kind of is, since the Florida Marlins used to play at Hard Rock Stadium, where the Miami Grand Prix just took place, right? Right, kinda? But guess what, folks? I'm gonna follow up this awful showing by going 3 for 3 when I give you my eagerly anticipated Imola race predictions next week, so make sure that you are subscribed to my channel so that you can see those predictions right when they drop next week in my Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix preview video. Also, while you're at it, toss this video a like. I'm trying to get over 1,500 likes on this video so that YouTube likes J-Bone more. J-Bone! Now let's get you caught up on what else you need to know from the incredible Miami Grand Prix weekend. First, Daniel Ricciardo just had a roller coaster Miami Grand Prix weekend. The weekend started off absolutely incredible for Daniel Ricciardo. Not only did he qualify for the sprint race an incredible P4, but he then proceeded to maintain that position through the entire sprint race to finish barely off the podium at P4, taking home his first F1 points of the season in spectacular fashion. Daniel was absolutely thrilled with this result that came early Saturday. Little did he know that later that very same day, he'd be the opposite of thrilled. At Grand Prix qualifying, Daniel, who had just established himself as the 4th fastest driver through the previous 2 sessions, qualified in abysmal P18 to get eliminated in Q1. And to make matters worse, Daniel had a grid drop penalty to serve from the Chinese Grand Prix, which meant he'd be starting the Miami Grand Prix dead last just one day after barely missing out on the sprint podium. Regardless, Daniel still has to feel good after his miraculous performance in Miami's sprint race. I honestly would have told you that a P4 result in a V-carb was literally impossible before Daniel proved that notion wrong in Miami. And now that Daniel scored his first points of the season, I'm very excited to see the positive effect that certainly will have on his confidence. Next, F1 driver Kevin Magnussen just racked up a hilarious amount of penalties at the Miami Grand Prix. It all started during Saturday's sprint race, where in the span of just 19 laps, Kevin Magnussen racked up 3 separate 10-second time penalties for leaving the track and gaining an advantage, as well as a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. This sounds absolutely outrageous until you realize why Kevin got all these penalties, because he was doing everything he could to hold off Lewis Hamilton so that Kevin's Haas teammate Nico Hülkenberg could finish in the points, which he did at P7. It actually still probably sounds absolutely outrageous to you even after you have that framing, but at least now it makes more sense. But K-Mag didn't stop there. During the Grand Prix, he received another 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with Logan Sargent that actually ended up bringing out the safety car that won Lando Norris the race. And then, K-Mag got a humongous 20-second time penalty for entering the pits during a safety car period and not changing tires, which I honestly did not know warranted a penalty. That is a total of 1 minute and 5 seconds of penalties that K-Mag received in Miami, which means he should be the new Ocon meme. But that probably won't happen because everyone loves the Ocon penalty meme, so it'll probably stick. K-Mag is now on the verge of a race ban, which happens after you accumulate 12 penalty points in a 12-month period. Magnussen now has 10, so if he accumulates just 2 more penalty points in the next 10 months, he'll be the first driver to ever be banned from a race for accumulating too many penalty points. I think it's going to happen if you ask me. Next, major shout out to Alpine F1 team who just scored their first Formula One championship points of the season. After finishing last season as the clear-cut 6th best team in Formula One, Alpine were easily the most disappointing team in F1 through the season's first 5 races. Why? Because they somehow managed to score not a single championship point through the season's first 5 races, which is less points than they scored in just the first race of last season. Alpine have only scored 4 podiums in their team's history, and 2 of them were last season, Ocon's in Monaco and Gasly's at Zandvoort. So to see them put up 5 straight goose eggs to kick off 2024 was bizarre. It was not totally unexpected though, given how Alpine's management is just barely ahead of Red Bull's in the stable department, and that's really not saying much. But enough of me bashing Alpine because I'm supposed to be shouting them out here. Esteban Ocon ran a great race to beat Nico Hülkenberg by 1 second to finish P10 and hand Alpine 1 lone point at the Miami Grand Prix, their first of the season. Alpine will be hoping that this is a sign better times are ahead, as well as a return to their midfield norm. F's in the chat to my friend Michael, though, because he is a massive Gasly stan, and the Gas Man is still laying a big fat egg on the driver leaderboard right now. In this day and age, anyone can sell products online, even a guy who talks about F1 from his race car bed. And if you're thinking about starting doing that, you gotta be using my partner Shopify. Shopify is the best all-in-one commerce platform capable of handling your business's complexity, no matter how big you grow. Step up to Shopify and harness the best converting checkout and the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands like Ruggable and Allbirds. Why spend time trying to build an online store with someone besides Shopify when Shopify stores convert the best? You shouldn't be. That was a rhetorical question. One thing I love about Shopify is that it integrates with YouTube, which just goes to show that they are a very forward-thinking company. Stop leaving sales on the table, switch your business to Shopify, and discover why millions trust Shopify as their all-in-one commerce platform to build, grow, and run their business. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/fbone, all lowercase. That's 1 month for just $1 at shopify.com/fbone, shopify.com/fbone. Finally today, let's broaden our view from F1 to racing in general because I cannot believe what went down this past weekend. There were photo finishes at not 1, but 2 major race events this past weekend. A photo finish is when a race to a finish line ends too close to call with the naked eye, so photographic finish line technology has to be used in order to determine the winner. You may remember that this technology was used at last year's F1 Sao Paulo Grand Prix when there was a photo finish for P3 between Fernando Alonso and Checo Perez. Here were this past weekend's 2 photo finishes. In the motorsport world, there was not only a photo finish at NASCAR's Advent Health 400 held at Kansas Speedway on Sunday, but the closest photo finish in NASCAR history. Kyle Larson won the race over Christopher Buescher by the slimmest of margins, with the 5 car crossing the finish line 0.001 seconds ahead of the 17 car in what has gone down in history as the closest finish in NASCAR Cup Series history. After being announced as the winner, Kyle Larson sent out a tweet that referenced the previous day's photo finish, the one that went down at the Kentucky Derby. Longshot Mystic Dan won the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby horse race over Sierra Leone and Forever Young in a 3-way photo finish that was absolutely thrilling. It was the first Kentucky Derby decided by a nose margin since 1996 and the first 3-horse photo finish there since 1947. Here's to hoping we get another F1 photo finish in the near future because photo finishes are awesome. Special shout out to my top YouTube channel members, Joe Max's #1 hater Snow, Brian Linton, Wolfsels Racing, Waffleophagus, and David Hay. week. Mash that join button just below this video to get your name shouted out right here in future videos, as well as a bunch of other awesome perks for less than $5 a month. I'll see you for my Imola preview next week, folks. J-Bone! J-Bone!